Swamini Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki jai, Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. So, to answer the question of Sanyalji, I've been reading Bhagavad Gita since 30 years. Okay. So, more you read, more juice will come. Okay. More rasa will come from Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So, it's the ongoing process. Not that one day I read and I get all the juice. There is no more juice next day. No. There is a nice reference from Prabhupada in one of the Bhagavatam verses. Prabhupada says, you go on reading Bhagavad Gita 1,000 times. It will give you newer and newer rasa, a juice in your language. Okay. Because Bhagavad Gita is so wonderful. More deep you go, or more deeper you dive, the treasure of knowledge, what is there in the depths, you're going to see more and more, variegatedness and more wonderful aspects of the knowledge. That's how Bhagavad Gita is. So, ordinarily in the outside world, we want to, take some subject matter and squeeze out everything. That is our material way of thinking. Okay. Spiritual subject matter is not like that. Spiritual subject matter is such that more you want to get into the depth of the knowledge of this whole understanding, more deeper it expands. The first instruction which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives, Shikshashtaka, first verse, there's a nice statement. It said, Anandambudi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadam. Very nice statement. You have to understand this. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Am I audible or no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. We can hear you.
So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the experience of doing spiritual activity. So the experience of doing spiritual activity, any spiritual activity, reading Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare Krishna, or performing any devotional activity, the way it's supposed to be done. It is so wonderful that it only increases the limits of the ocean of happiness. Limits of the ocean of happiness means Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam. See, you have seen the ocean, very vast. Just imagine, there is an ocean, Prabhupada says, spiritual ocean of happiness, which is ever expanding, ever expanding. And every time you experience the spiritual bliss, spiritual happiness, that is, you feel it is complete. There is nothing lacking. That much, whatever you have understood, whatever you have realized, that is going to give you completeness also. That's going to give you the feeling of perfection also. And next step you go, that also gives you much more perfection, much more. So spiritual understanding is not that you will be lacking by not understanding something. To whatever level you have understood. Okay, to whatever level you have understood, that much satisfaction you're going to have. That is the spiritual way of understanding. So spiritual knowledge is unlimited. Anything and everything what Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita has so many dimensions of understanding. So many, Prabhupada says, so many angles of vision. So it cannot be understood in one day, 1 year, 10 years, or whole lifetime. Okay. That is the whole background of this whole understanding. And one more example I'll give you. Prabhupada in 2 times he repeats this aspect. This is what we are reading is Bhagavad Gita. There are 700 verses. There is one more literature called Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the further explanation of this Bhagavad Gita. That is having 18,000 verses. And 18,000 verses, each verse, Prabhupada says, you can thoroughly analyze, understand for 1 month, every verse. That much depth is there in each verse. So 18,000 verses into 1 month means 18,000 months. How many years? 12 months is 1 year. So 1,500 years. How many years you are going to live? 50, 60, 70 years. Where is 1,500 years? It means the depth of knowledge is so much, we cannot even understand everything. So this mood or this tendency of, I want to understand everything is good. But there is a limitation. Whatever level Krishna reveals, we'll understand. But our whole idea is to whatever way we can touch this knowledge with our time, with our energy, with our intelligence, that is good for us. That is the way we are supposed to receive this knowledge, to accept this knowledge. Otherwise, every verse of Bhagavad Gita is ocean. Okay, so this is how we are supposed to see this wonderful transcendental understanding. No problem. That feeling is there that I have not understood fully. That should be there. That eagerness should be there. That feeling should be there. That is actually good. It is called hunger for spiritual understanding. But hunger is not there. It will not help you to move forward. But you should also know that I also have a limitation of how much I can understand. So whatever I can understand is again Guru Krishna Kripa. Just like in the morning Guru Puja we sing. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koriya Aikya. So Arana Koriho Maninash. Which means whatever knowledge I have is only revealed by Guru and Krishna. I may read Bhagavad Gita, the text and everything, all the things. But the level of realization you can have, only Krishna and Prabhupada can bestow upon us. Without their mercy, we cannot get the realization. That is the point. So it is a very important aspect. Fine. The eagerness to know, eagerness to understand is all very important quality. But also we should know that we have to, as a matter of service, we have to listen, understand, hear, and realization will come provided we are sincere in trying to understand the subject matter. That's the whole point. Okay. So with this, in fact, all of us decided 2 weeks back that let us have an overview. Overview means overview. It's like a bird's view. Detailed study is detailed study. Okay. So when we have decided on something, we should not go back. That's what I feel. Once overview means you have to know everything, what is there in summary. Okay. Detailed study is again a different type of a study. There is a mathematics, Prabhupada says mathematics, very elementary mathematics also you teach 2 + 2 = 4. Very advanced mathematics also 2 + 2 = 4. But there are so many aspects of the 2 + 2 = 4. Many other aspects come into picture. So we have to begin with elementary. At least let us understand the principles. Overall principles, what is there, what is the flow, but you can appreciate further things when you are reading. That's why. So it is not that I have to read now and I understand fully. No. You read this today, after 2 years again read this, you will get a new realization. That's how it is. Because Bhagavad Gita means every time you read, you will get newer and newer realization. It is, the subject matter is never old. Always it is fresh, ever fresh. This is accepted by Arjuna himself in 10 chapters. Right? Very nicely, Arjuna says in verse number 16 of 10th chapter. He says, not 16, 18, sorry. He says, now tell me again in detail, O Krishna, your mighty potencies and glories. Because already Krishna has explained so many things from 7th chapter onwards. Again he's telling, again tell me. Because I am never tired of hearing your ambrosial words. Your words are like Amruta. Shunvato nasti me mrutam. So Prabhupada says, anything about Krishna or spoken by Krishna is like nectar, Amruta. So Prabhupada gives example of modern stories, histories are different. Because once you hear, you have squeezed out all the rasa, juice in that. And again you don't want to hear. Whereas Krishna's descriptions, Krishna's words are like nectar. You repeatedly hear. You will never feel tired. Right? It's like, in North India there is a custom. I think most of the parts of India it is a custom. During Navaratri, Ramanavami, they enact Ramayana. All of us know Ramayana pastime so well. But even then, when it is enacted again, you get a different experience. Why for that matter Ramayana? Even that Mahabharata, old serial, 25 years back, we have seen. New serial which has come a few years back, we have seen. This is because the subject matter is like that. Ever fresh. That is the aspect. That is the point. So don't worry, Sanyalji. Nothing to worry that now I am not understood fully or something is missing. You will understand more and more as and when Krishna and Prabhupada gives us more and more mercy. But now whatever you can understand, let us move forward from that point. Okay? That is going to help us because one overview is important to know. That is the reason we have started this overview sessions. Right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All of us on the same page?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Perfect.
Very nice.
Yes, Prabhuji. We agree with you.
Let's start now with our overview. Okay. Okay. So I'll just quickly, today we're going to cover next 20 verses. Overview. Overview means we'll try to see the flow and the what subject matters Krishna want to make us understand. Right? All this is happening by the special mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who is our constant guide and inspiration for our reading of Bhagavad Gita. We'll quickly understand the overview of first chapter. First chapter is like the setting of the scene. It is called Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. There are 4 observers. Dhritarashtra, sitting in the palace of Hastinapura, is asking Sanjaya about what is happening on the battlefield. He is blind by birth and is spiritually also blinded. So the observation from his is all blinded. Whereas his son, second observer, Duryodhana, is politically motivated, very aspiring for kingdom, opulence, power, and his way of seeing things is like an opportunist. Duryodhana is politically motivated person. So his observation was something different, we understood. And Sanjaya, being a devotee and a disciple of Vyasadeva, he is having a devotee observation and he is seeing there are different indications on the Pandava side and they are going to be victorious finally. And his final observation, he will tell in the 18th chapter that wherever Krishna is there, wherever Arjuna is there, there is going to be definitely opulence, victory, morality, and all the various good things. And Arjuna, who is the hero of this whole Bhagavad Gita, who is there because of him, because of his him becoming bewildered, whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken. His observation is from an ordinary person's point of view, how we become bewildered by seeing so many ups and downs in our life, especially when there are challenging situations. In our life, we break down, we become compassionate, we think in so many ways and try to justify our stand. That is what Arjuna's observation was, right? So this we have understood in our previous discussions about first chapter overview. And also there is one more observer, the fifth observer. Who is he?
Krishna.
Not Krishna.
Not Krishna himself.
He is known as Rishikesha, right? So he is also observing everybody, and he is accordingly seeing, observing us. He is accordingly giving the different results for the respective person based on his desires and what he deserves. That we'll see more and more as we proceed with our discussions. And we also began understanding chapter 2. And the overview of the chapter 2 is that it has the entire contents of the Gita summarized. So first 10 verses had conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. Now today we're going to see what is known as Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga, knowledge about the soul. Krishna is going to explain in next 20 verses. After that, Krishna is going to explain about Karma Yoga, then Buddhi Yoga. Then Krishna is going to explain about a transcendently situated person who is known as Sthita Prajna, his qualities. How he sits, how he behaves, how he talks, how he moves around in the last section of this chapter. So, in the previous week, we have understood about these 10 verses wherein as soon as Krishna saw that Arjuna is overwhelmed with compassion and he's crying, and the person who has come to fight on the battlefield is, he is cast aside his bow and arrow, and he is just sitting and crying. So the good friend Krishna became surprised. He started, in fact, on a friendly terms, started chastising his friend. Where have these impurities come upon you? Right? This is not befitting a person who is actually Aryan. You are behaving like an Anarya. Arya means a person who knows the progressive values of life. And this is going to bring akirti karam. It's going to bring infamy to you. And it's not going to give you any ultimate salvation, asvargyam. And further, Krishna also chastised his friend Arjuna, telling that this is something because of your weakness of heart, that you have become so degraded in your understanding, you are acting like an impotent, right? Come out of this weakness of heart, arise and get up and fight. Basically, he was cheering up his friend. And further, Arjuna starts giving some more justifications. And this was again proving that Arjuna is a devotee of Krishna. Right? First point Arjuna says is that Arjuna says, Krishna, you have killed only your enemies. But in my side, you're seeing in front of me, my grandfather is there, my teacher Dronacharya is there, all of them are Mahan Bhava. How can I kill them? Right? So it is not good for us to kill all these people because they're all great personalities, they're superiors, and it will show that we are uncultured and we are not in a proper way trained to do the needful. So in that way, he was ready to justify his stand, and again he shows his confusion, bewilderment, telling that I don't know whether I should fight or not fight, what to do. Krishna, I am totally confused. In that way, with complete confusion, perplexity, he submits to Krishna as disciple, and finally he says, Krishna, please accept me as a disciple. And because the type of perplexity I'm going through, confusion I'm going through, looks like even if I win the kingdom, it will not be possible for me to come out of this great trauma, great type of a calamity I'm going through. Please give me a proper and nice direction in my life, what to do. So this is where the turning point happens with regard to Krishna taking the position of a master, spiritual master, Jagat Guru, and Arjuna becoming the disciple, wherein the instruction of Bhagavad Gita starts from verse number 11 onwards. So this observation which Sanjaya is telling, that like this, Krishna and Arjuna openly exchanged this talk, wonderful talk known as Bhagavad Gita, is part of Mahabharata, in front of all the various different grades of soldiers, kings, and personalities. So what is that Krishna is going to start instructing is what we are going to read today. It is the first portion of instruction, wherein Krishna is going to talk to Arjuna about what is the soul, who are we? This question Krishna is going to answer to Arjuna. Actually, when you know who you are, then there is no question of lamentation at all, because you have identified yourself as somebody else, because of which you are lamenting. That was one of the main expressions which Arjuna made immediately as soon as he saw different grades of relatives. Very nice example Prabhupada gives. Just like in a dream, you are seeing that you are chased by a tiger. You're running. Oh, tiger is behind me, tiger is behind me. And that tiger is about to catch you. You are sweating in the dream. Right? You are shouting, oh, tiger, tiger. You are very much in anxiety and you are afraid and help, help, help. So that person who is sleeping and dreaming, next to him, his friend is standing and saying, what is happening to him? How can he help him? Either his friend has to enter into the dream of his friend who is dreaming and chase the tiger, kill the tiger, take a revolver and shoot the tiger. What is the best way? To wake him awake, get up. What are you doing? Got up. Then where is tiger? Tiger is vanished. What for he is lamenting? The person who was dreaming, he was lamenting or he was crying, he was very much in anxiety because he was thinking tiger is attacking him. There is no tiger. Only in dream tiger was there. But of course, dream world also is a world. So we are living in a world of one more dream, wherein we are thinking, I am this body, everybody else are bodies. Right? Mr. Kamath, Mrs. Kamath, Sushilaji, everybody are all bodies. If I see like that, I am in one more dream world. I should only see Mr. Kamath, Mrs. Kamath, or Sushilaji are all different souls in different bodies. The same individual spirit soul, but different type of dresses they are wearing. It's what Krishna is going to enlighten Arjuna. You are not this body, you are spirit soul. And whatever big things you have spoken, like big Pandit, it is foolish. You are fool number one. This is what Krishna is going to, because teacher, he has become a teacher now. Arjuna is accepted the position of, Krishna has accepted the position of spiritual master. Spiritual master's duty is to chastise his student for anything wrong he does. Right? So Krishna is going to show this example in the first verse, 11th verse, as soon as he begins his instruction to Arjuna. One second. Okay. So verse number 11, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. What does Krishna say? While speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. So your eyes lament neither for the living nor the dead. Okay. So Krishna is telling that you are speaking like very big, advanced, learned person. That's what most of the people speak, as though they are very learned. Some problem is there. Free advice you'll get from everywhere. You do this, you do this, you do that, you do this. Nobody knows what is the real solution. Right? When you have some problem, everybody will give you free advice. Like that, Arjuna also, he was thinking freely, free thinking. Nowadays it has become very common now. Freely you have to think. But freely thinking is a big problem. Why? Because you are not free. You are bound by many laws. It's like you're going on a road, a two-wheeler with your vehicle. Freely I can ride, no free. You are bound by traffic rules. Your mama will be standing there, one more corner, give you a big ticket or big penalty. If you freely drive, wrong way you go, one way you go, you do something, finish. You will get a nice ticket. So the thing is, the concept of freely thinking is something which is very wrong. We are bound by many laws. You have to understand this. So our mind cannot go without any, controls, without any proper regulation, right? So Arjuna, even though he was talking from different, scriptures, different references, but his presentation was very foolish because he was not talking sense with regard to who is he. That is the whole point. Mostly the modern day Hare Krishna. Able to hear me, all of you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Then why somebody is writing a message that they're unable to hear? Okay. So maybe you have reduced the volume. Maybe one participant who's writing the message, you can increase the volume. You can hear, right? Maybe you're an illusion, thinking that it is your hearing. Please increase the volume. Okay. Fine. So now, point is, the learned scholars, scientists, philosophers, politicians speak big things as though they know everything. I know the solution for this. Prabhupada gives example. They make big plans, 5-year plan, 10-year plans, Panchavarshika Yojana. So many plans came now. But who made the plans only don't exist for 5 years. After some time, they are dead and gone. Plans will be there, but nobody to execute. So like this, many plans, many things to solve all problems of life is going on. But finally, no solution. Because the basic premise of understanding that I am the body is not going to anyway last. What is the use? So Arjuna was lamenting on the basis of I am the body. But body is not going to last anyway. What is going to last for you is your spirit soul. So Krishna very clearly says in the very first instruction that don't speak like a learned person when you don't know what is the difference between soul and body. That's why Krishna says you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Means body is not anyway going to last. What is the use of lamenting for the body? Soul is eternally existing. Body is going to be dead one day. It's destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. That is the whole conclusion, right? Therefore, the body is not important. Spirit, soul is important. When you're going in the vehicle is only an instrument, a carrier. You are important in that body. Just like there was a plane crash in Nepal last week. We are not lamenting, oh, such a nice plane, such a big plane, it crashed. No. Nobody talks about that. So much costly, so many lakhs, crores would have spent on plane. They are talking about how many people died. Right? So what I mean to say is, the person, you are important more than the body. Right? This is what Krishna says in the first verse, 11th verse. Next. Text number 12, a very important verse is again, see, all these 20 verses are very important. Please go through carefully whenever you have time. Whatever you can understand, grasp, doesn't matter. You have to, that sometimes you may not understand, but this session is only to give you an overview of things. So in the next verse, Krishna speaks about eternality of the soul. He says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. This is a very wonderful expression Krishna is making to tell us that in the past we were existing, Bhuta Kala, Vartamana Kala, we are all existing as persons, and Bhavishya Kala, all of us will continue to remain as persons. So this is a very important principle to understand, because in the modern day understanding of scientists, philosophers, educationists, they say we didn't exist previously, we're existing now. After we die, we don't exist. This is called Nirvisheshavada, Shunyavada, impersonalism and voidism. These are very two big contaminations, which is everywhere in the material world. So Krishna is refuting this contamination, because these two types of philosophies of impersonalism and voidism, that there is no variety after your liberation, everything is zero after liberation, is making you to enjoy this life so much, attached to this life so much, you become irresponsible in your life with regard to doing anything and everything and thinking there is nothing after this. Okay, so you are going to eternally exist, and what you have done previously has made you be born in a particular body now, and what you are going to do now will decide your next life. This is the proper understanding as per Vedic literatures. This is what Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita. So basically, Krishna is trying to tell that we are existing as individual person eternally. We never, it's not that we didn't have any personality before. Now only we have personality. After we die or after we get liberated, no personality. No, that is wrong. We are existing always. So Krishna is taking the example of Arjuna himself, and all the different kings were assembled on the battlefield, and he's telling all of us are eternal individuals. Why Krishna is saying this is that all of us are not going to die, Arjuna. Why are you lamenting? We are eternals. So your lamentation has no reason. So the first quality of the soul, Krishna is telling that we are eternally existing. Such a wonderful relief now. You're not going to die. A big secret has been revealed by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm not going to die. And what is that experience of death? It's only your body. Dress. This dress has toned out, it's become worn out or it's become old. What to do? I'll take out this dress and get a new dress. Over. Why should you lament? Why should you cry that this body is going to die? So this is the whole point. So Prabhupada explains more about Mayavada, Shunyavada in the purport. Okay, that is again details. But here the flow is, first Krishna chastises his disciple Arjuna, telling you speak like a fool because you are lamenting for what is not worthy of grief. You are taking body to be important, but body is not important at all. What is more important is spirit soul. Okay, and spirit soul is eternally existing. It has personality in the past. It is having personality now. It's going to continue to exist in the future as a person, which means we are eternally existing. We are not going to die. Arjuna's lamentation was, we're all going to die one day. Now I'm going to die. I'm going to kill them. That's what Arjuna's lamentation was. Next, in verse number 13, again a very important verse. Krishna is revealing wonderful principles. He says, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Okay. So here, Krishna is giving the principle how things are functioning in the material world with regard to everybody's body. All of us are going through a some laws which are all governing us. The laws of nature, which is again governed by Krishna. So what is happening? When a soul gets a body, Krishna is using two important words here. Deha, Dehi. Deha, Sharira, the body, and the owner of the body. The owner of the body, Dehi, is changing different Deha, different bodies. From childhood to boyhood, boyhood to youthhood, youthhood to old age. Like this, he is changing bodies. When science says all of us are changing, so many millions of cells every second. So many cells die, new cells are born. So imperceptibly these things are happening. So just like in our case, when a small child grows into a boy, mother and father is not crying, oh, he has become big boy now. They're happy. He's grown up so much. So good. Right? So nobody laments for change of body in our regular course of life. When a boy becomes an adult and becomes youth, they're very happy. Grown up now, will take responsibility. So likewise, Prabhupada says, Arjuna should rather rejoice for changing bodies from old to new ones. That is how naturally we feel with regard to, from old body I got a new body. So from that point of understanding, Krishna's advice to Arjuna is, why are you bewildered? Why is your mind completely confused? Mukhyati, why are you bewildered? Why are you so much, perplexed? In fact, you should be very happy that great personalities like Bhishma, Drona are all great souls. They are going to get spiritual bodies in their next life. Or at least heavenly bodies for spiritual enjoyment, superior enjoyment, So, why should you lament? Better life is going to get. Better life you are going to get. Why should you lament? It's a nice, logic Krishna is giving to Arjuna. So, basically, Krishna is building up the subject matter of spirit soul. First, he said, spirit soul is eternally existing. Second, he said that the body, what you are seeing, is only a covering. This goes on changing eternally. It goes on changing every now and then. But spirit soul is constant. Your spirit soul, you're the same person. But the body of this person goes on changing as long as you have material body. This is the principle. Very important verse. Prabhupada quotes extensively this verse. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe. Okay. Next, Krishna is going to tell very nice principles in these 20 verses. We have to understand them very carefully. Next, Krishna speaks about principle of tolerance and patience. He says, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the disappearance and appearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O sign of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So, Krishna is advising Arjuna to, in fact, tolerate the different changes one has to anyway go through. Inevitable it is. Inevitable means you cannot stop it. It has to go through. The example Krishna is giving here is when winter season, the same cold water will be like current for you. So cold, especially in North India. If you are in, you can understand how cold it will be. If you are told, you give one bucket of cold water, if you give and tell normal water, it's become so cold. Take bath, you will freeze. Whereas the same cold water during summer, so nice. I want freezer water. Because that time, it is so hot outside. Water is same, but your skin perception, hot, cold, nice, not very nice, happy, distress, is all because of your perception, your sense perception. Skin is perceiving very nice, not very nice. So all these perceptions of good, bad, happy, distress is all sensual and it is all temporary. What is good now will not be good later. What is good later may not be good now. Like this, is all changing situation. So your situation of now I am going to kill and everybody is going to die. This is only your situational say understanding, right? So you have to come out of this sense perception of good, bad, happiness, distress, and act in a very responsible way. In fact, Krishna is reminding Arjuna in different ways, because in this verse specifically he is addressing Arjuna as Bharata. You are a descendant of great King Bharata in your dynasty. This brings a great, and also is addressing Arjuna as Kaunteya. Kaunteya means you are son of Kunti, mother Kunti. You are related, you are having blood relations with me, as well as having great heritage. So you have a great responsibility with regard to doing your duties. Many ups and downs will come in life, but you have to tolerate them. Have patience, right? So Krishna has told, as spirit soul, you are ever existing. The spirit soul is eternal, permanent, and the body only is changing. And the body will go through many tribulations, will go through many changes, will go through many problems. You have to tolerate. There's no other way. So nicely, Krishna is building up the whole subject matter, step by step, step by step. Okay, fine. Now the next verse. Krishna says, "O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation." This is again a statement Krishna is making. It's a continuation of the previous statement, what Krishna has told. Tolerate the different changes which you go through. So he's further reiterating the same point, telling that please become steady. Steady means not getting disturbed by little so-called agitations, little ups and downs in life, right? So Prabhupada says this steadiness or determination is something which is an indication of advanced or maturity in spiritual realization. Because one who is mature in the spiritual understanding, he will understand this anyway, will come and go. Just like in the modern day understanding also, this will also pass through. This calamity also will pass through. This is not going to be permanent. People, they know this is something which has come, a problem will come, it will go. It's like the winter has come, doesn't mean winter is going to stay like this forever. Winter is going to go. After some, maybe 1 month, 2 months, I'm not going to wear this sweater at all. I'll be, maybe I should wear only chadar. It'll be so hot. So like this, everything will go through. So Arjuna, as a Kshatriya, he should discharge his duty. Very much understanding that it is very difficult for him to fight, nevertheless, with family members and everybody, but he should do his duty. That's what Krishna is advising Arjuna, right? One who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, Arjuna, is steady both, studies both in both happiness and distress, and he is eligible for liberation. Because your action of not doing your duty is not qualifying you for liberation at all. You have to tolerate all the different ups and downs in life and do your duty, right? As a duty as a Kshatriya should do, which you don't know. Now you're backing up. You don't want to do your duty also, which is not good on your part. So like this, Krishna further gives the philosophy of the Sat and Asat now in verse number 16. He says, "Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtontas, tanayos tattvadarshibhi." Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent there is no endurance, and of the existent there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. It's a conclusion. Krishna here, one thing you have to observe in this verse is that Krishna, even though he is authority, he can speak and give his verdict. But he is always quoting from Vedic writings, from other great authorities, sages, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Because Krishna also, when he comes, he doesn't violate anything, the norms what he has set up, through Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So here we can see he is using the word tattva darshibihi, which means the seers of the truth. People who have realized, people who have advanced in knowledge, they have concluded that there are two things in this world. One is called Sat, one more is called Asat. Asat means which doesn't exist permanently, or which is having temporary existence, which is actually flickering, right? Whereas Sat means eternal. So two things are there. So we are all running after Asat now. Body, family, society, country, which is not going to last anyway. They are all like bubbles of foam in a wave, right? How much time that bubbles will stay in the form of the wave? Hardly few seconds. After that, there is no foam, there is no bubbles. Wave also is gone. And our family life is like that. Our whole life, material world is like that. Whereas the eternal existence, spiritual world, spiritual existence is something which is everlasting. That's why Vedic literature says, Asatoma Sadgamaya. See, all the things which Krishna is telling is all completely in conformity to Vedic understanding, what the great authorities have given us the teachings. Asatoma Sadgamaya is what Krishna is going to, what Vedic literature says. So, the reference of spirit and matter is being made here because spirit is eternally existing, not going to die. In different ways, Krishna is telling how spirit soul is, it is eternal, Shashwata, Sanatana. Whereas body, whatever you do, is going to die one day. So now in different ways, Krishna is going to explain the eternality of the soul and the non-existence of the matter, body, right? So all this Krishna is trying to tell so that, Arjuna understands the truth, the principles, the basic principles, ABCD of spiritual life, the difference between spirit and matter. Next, in verse number 17, Krishna gives an understanding about what is consciousness, how consciousness is existing in every entity. He says, Avinashim tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. Know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So, what is all pervading in our body is our consciousness. Same concept Krishna repeats in different ways in different chapters. In 13th chapter, Krishna gives the example, just like sun is situated in one place, it is emanating light and heat. Because sun is risen in the day, we see light and heat everywhere. One sun in one place, everywhere light and heat. Similarly, soul in the body, because soul is present, the presence of the soul is felt as consciousness all over the body. If there is a prick somewhere in the hand or leg or somewhere, something is touching you, immediately you feel some pain somewhere. Because consciousness is there in the whole entire body because of the presence of the soul. That's very spirit soul is out of the body, then no consciousness is felt. That's what Krishna says. Know that which is pervading this entire body is indestructible. It means that consciousness which is coming out of the soul is never to be destroyed. That soul is always imperishable. So in different ways, Krishna is telling, soul is not going to die, Arjuna. Soul is eternally existing. Soul has no death. What you're thinking, this body is going to die one day. So Krishna is trying to analyze carefully about the spirit soul's nature and existence in this different teachings which is given to Arjuna in a very, very nice way. That is why it's known as Jnana Yoga or Sankhya Yoga portion, this particular 20 verses, all about soul. Next, Krishna in 18th verse, he says, only the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is subject to destruction. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. So, now he said about spirit soul. Spirit soul is all pervading as consciousness in the body. And because of the spirit soul's presence, we are having this consciousness all over the body, and the soul is imperishable, Krishna said. Now, what about the material body? Material body is destructible. Anta ime deha, right? Whereas spirit soul is anashino, aprameyasya, it is indestructible, it is immeasurable. Aprameya means we cannot measure the spirit soul. It is so minute. Even the most modern instruments also cannot see, cannot understand, cannot actually grasp this spirit soul. That's why it is called. It is not anything matter that we can perceive it. It is beyond matter. Prabhupada used the word antimatter in one of his books. Easy Journey to Other Planets. Very early books Prabhupada has written. He says antimatter. It is not matter. So different ways Krishna is explaining that spirit soul is totally a different, is a different domain. It's even a different domain. It is not like what we experience as matter. So, spirit soul is eternal. It is ever existing, indestructible, immeasurable. Whereas the body is subject to destruction. So why are you not fighting Arjuna? So basically, in different ways, Krishna is telling Arjuna there is no cause for lamentation for you. Because the living entity can neither be killed, nor can the material, neither living entity as spirit soul cannot be killed. Or if you want to save the material body for a long time, how long you will save? The examples of how Walt Disney, he wanted to preserve his body. So that, after some time, scientists are going to discover some chemicals and something wherein they can inject that injection into my, into this body, and he'll revive again and he'll become he'll again start living. Right? So many examples are there in the Western countries to show that, we want to live, but how long will preserve? The body cannot be preserved or saved for any length of time. Permanently, it cannot be protected. So basically, Krishna is advising Arjuna that the body is going to die one day anyway. So what is the need for you to lament for this body? So Krishna is advising Arjuna to fight. See, again and again Krishna is saying, get up and fight. Yudhyasva Bharata. Tasma Yudhyasva Bharata. Why you are not fighting? You should fight, do your duty. So he's telling you, fight, you sacrifice your material body also for the cause of dharma. Right? This is what Krishna is advising Arjuna. Now, next, Krishna is going to tell about other aspect of the different perspective he gives with regard to what is this spirit soul and what is this body. He says, he who thinks that the living entity, the slayer, or that he is slain, does not understand. One who is in knowledge knows that the self slays not, nor is slain. Little cryptic, but having a very great, wonderful, understanding. Many statements like this in Bhagavad Gita are little cryptic, but it requires Prabhupada's purport to understand them. So, Krishna is saying here that just like this body, it may look like it is destroyed. Body, we can shoot or you can burn. Body is destroyed. Whereas the soul, even though the body is destroyed, soul is not killed. That's what Krishna has been telling. Avinashi. So spirit soul, it is so minute, aprameya, and it is indestructible that no material weapon can kill that. So your thinking that I am killing all of them is a wrong understanding. So the point is, what Arjuna is being advised by Krishna is that your aspect of I killed this person or he killed me, all this is all mental concoction. So the point is, Arjuna has to understand, as a matter of dharma, he has to fight. Just like when there is a requirement, we have doctors also attending our session here. So doctors will use knife or scalpel to cut some portion of the body so that the operation is done so that the patient is cured. If you start complaining, oh, doctor is using a knife, he's going to kill me. No, he's not going to kill you. Required. So likewise, Dharma also is the fighting as part of dharma is required to see that dharma principles are established. So this is what Krishna is going to tell now through these various verses, next few verses, that if you think that the body is killed, the soul is not killed, other way, vice versa, you don't understand properly. One who is actually in knowledge knows that the body, the spirit soul is never killed, nor is going to kill anybody. This concept that it is killing someone or I am killing someone is all illusion, not proper. It is the point. So like this, Krishna now comes to one more very nice, wonderful verse which most of us will be knowing. It says, "Na jayate varyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavito vana bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire." For the soul, there is no birth, there is no death, nor having once been does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Right? Again, Krishna repeats again and again same thing. Why? Because Prabhupada explains why Krishna repeats so many times. Because sometimes repetition makes subject matter very clear. You don't repeat, no, only once you are told, oh, okay, that's what it is. I didn't understand that. When it is repeated again and again and again, because this is subject matter which requires repetition. That's why it is important that we read again and again. How much you will grasp, Prabhupada and Krishna mercy, but let us endeavor to repeatedly read and try to understand whatever possible. Okay, that is the point. So basically here Krishna is giving the wonderful aspect of our existence. Na jayate na mriyate. For the soul there is no birth, no death. So what is dying, what is taking birth? It is only this body. When this body is no more going to be existing, it is called death. When you get one more new body, it is called birth. So like this Krishna is saying, it never was a time that it did not exist, nor it going to cease, or is not going to exist in the future. No, he is unborn, aja. He is eternal, nitya. He is ever existing, always there. He is undying. Like this, many wonderful qualities of the spirit soul. Even just understanding these very qualities of spirit soul, you will feel so energized, so good. That is what I am. I am thinking I become old. You will never grow old. You are actually always spirit soul. The body is getting old, right? Because that's why you see in Prabhupada's life, when we say 70 years old person went to America, Prabhupada says in spirituality, as you grow old, you become more young. Because more and more spiritual understanding only makes you more mature in spiritual understanding, that you are so energized to do more and more activities for Krishna. So it was. Okay. So I think already we are reached 7:30 now. So should we continue or should we close now and continue next week? What do you think, all of you? Hare Krishna.
I think we have some question also, Prabhuji.
Okay, no problem. So we'll conclude here. We'll continue in our next week because this requires little more understanding, careful understanding, because so far what you have understood requires for you to also go through with some more. If you read again, you'll get a flow of things. Basically, Krishna is telling in this set of 10 verses that spirit soul is eternal, body is temporary, body is not going to last forever. Spirit soul is eternally existing, right? It is undying, it is imperishable. So whatever changes body go through, we have to tolerate it, because that is what we are supposed to be finally doing it. If you don't do this, then you cannot execute your duties. What Krishna explains. Okay, fine. Over to Sanya. You have questions? Please go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhuji, that one thing that is 2.2, that is Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan. What are the means not clear the relationship, these three?
So Prabhupada gives an example of Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, example of sun globe and sun god, sun globe, and sunshine. Okay, Brahman is compared to sunshine. See, sunshine, the light, impersonal light, Shakti, right? Sun has a Shakti called sunshine, sun planet. The sun globe or sun planet is a localized, aspect, and the sun globe has a personality called sun god. So the aspect of Brahman, impersonal Brahman, is a light energy coming out from Krishna. It's called Brahma Jyoti, Brahman. And Krishna also is localized as Paramatma in every person. Every individual person is there as Paramatma. Okay, so Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Krishna also is existing as individual personality in Golok Vrindavan. Krishna simultaneously is existing as Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Brahman also. That is the meaning. Just like sun god is a sun planet, and sun planet is emitting unlimited sun rays. Prabhupada says, right? The bhaktas or transcendentalists have realized the Bhagavan feature of absolute truth, that's topmost transcendentalist. And he says the sunshine, sun disk, and the inner affairs of the sun planet cannot be separated from one another. Yet the students of the three different phases are not in the same category. Anyway, so here basically the aspect of Brahman, Bhagavan, Paramatma are different aspects of the same absolute truth. Absolute truth has three different manifestations as Brahman, or the impersonal energy, all-pervading energy, and is also localized as Paramatma in every entity, every atom. And the same absolute truth is also situated as a person, Lord Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. Means he has so many manifestations, multiple manifestations. In our case, we can exist only in one place, right? If I am attending this session, I cannot attend some other program outside somewhere. No. But Krishna can simultaneously be there, everywhere. Just like in Dwaraka, Krishna had 16,108 palaces. When Narada Muni came to visit him, in every palace, Krishna had expanded himself as Krishna, different Krishnas in all these houses. Individually, he is expanded. Every wife was thinking, Krishna is there with me only. But actually, Krishna is the same Krishna who is all expanded into different various forms there. And those forms of Krishna, they are looking exactly like Krishna, but each of them are having the same nature or the type of understanding which is very much complement with that wife. Just like it is said, when there is marriage happening, the natures are matched as much as possible. Like that Krishna's nature with that particular wife was very much matching. So when Narada Muni went to one palace, he saw Krishna is sitting and joking with his wife. One more palace, he is playing with his kids. One more palace, he saw he's doing some charity. One more palace, he's seeing he's getting his daughter married. Like that, many things Narada Muni saw, and he was appreciating. Oh, Krishna, what a wonderful personality you are. Same Krishna. And morning, again, when he's to go to his assembly, it's called Sudharma assembly, where he has to sit and give, that he's going to rule the whole Dwaraka kingdom. The 16,108 Krishnas will walk out from the palace. They all merge as one Krishna. And that one Krishna goes to the assembly. And again, evening he comes, he divides. This is how it was happening in Dwaraka. Same Krishna is expanding. So like this about Krishna, he's sitting as Paramatma. Whole Bhagavad Gita talking about Paramatma feature. In your heart, in my heart, everybody's heart, Paramatma is sitting. And he's guiding all of us. He knows everything, what is going on in our mind. And his energy is working. We'll see in the later discussions, Krishna is going to explain how his energies are working so wonderfully. This earth, water, fire, air, ether, all his energies, impersonal energies, they're all combined in different ways, permutation, combination, different manifestation we are seeing in the material world. So this is what it is. Basically, Krishna has different various manifestations, various features of existence, features of his display of energies. As a personality, he's called Bhagavan. And he's expanded in every atom, every individual is present as Paramatma. Because of Paramatma, in our body, we're able to see, read, do anything. Ourselves, we don't have any powers. We can only desire. Our desire is fulfilled by Paramatma through the agency of material nature. Paramatma gives direction to material nature. You are desiring, lift the hand, I want to lift the hand. So Paramatma will direct to material nature, body, lift the hand. That's what is happening. So this is we'll understand more about Paramatma, Bhagavan.
See, Prabhuji, that the Brahman is the meaning of the nature. Nature and Brahman is the same word, or it is the different?
See, nature means
Prakriti.
Which nature you are referring to? Material nature or spiritual nature?
Spiritual nature means the creation, that Prakriti, Prakriti.
Prakriti is material nature. It is again Krishna's energy only. It is also Brahman.
That is also Brahman.
Sarvam khalu idam Brahman. This Vedic statement. Everything is Krishna's energy only. Something is manifested as spiritual energy, something is manifested as material energy, but everything is Krishna's energy only. Just like electrical energy, same electrical energy, you can use it for refrigeration also, making things cold, or you can use it for heating also. Same electrical energy. Like that, Krishna has, his energy is used as, his energy is being manifesting as material energy. It's called Maya energy, Prakriti, or spiritual energy. It's called Yoga Maya. These are all various things Krishna is going to explain in the next few chapters nicely. Okay. We have one more hand raised here. So Lata ji, please tell your question. You can ask. Hare Krishna. Go ahead. Please, you can ask the question. Lata Rao. Okay. It's like, they're not answering. Able to hear me? Hello. We're not able to hear you. Sorry. Can you repeat? Or you want to type? You can type the question. You can type the question so that we can all read the question and answer the question. Okay. Okay, fine. Any other question, please?
Not question, Prabhuji, but yeah, Deepak here. Hello. Hare Krishna.
Please. Go ahead.
No, I mean, see, one advantage I am seeing, Prabhuji, now that we are in this overview, we are able to establish beautiful connection between the different shlokas. So the context is getting very clear. So Sanilji, I think this is one advantage we can get, just establishing the connection, and having an overview.
Yes, very much. Very good. That is very important, because unless you don't understand the context and the flow, you cannot release, you cannot get the, you cannot enjoy the subject matter. You'll feel boring.
Deepak ji, I always feel that to meet Prabhuji is always advantage to enhance my spiritual journey. So always it is, means meeting of Prabhuji itself, it helps a lot.
It actually, Prabhu, struck me, when you said that how Krishna has started the context, and now I am able to relate with the various shloka. You are not body, you are spirit, and why you are so lamenting. So I think you can relate. I have been also reading Bhagavad Gita since my younger days, but I used to read only one slave in a whole detail, but never able to establish the connections, in the whole after reading the whole Bhagavad Gita.
We have to see a particular verse in the overall context.
Yeah.
why the statement is made. It's very important. Then you'll appreciate why it is being made. And the real import of it or real value of the statement you will appreciate so much. Oh, so nicely Krishna is talking. So wonderfully is talking.
Correct.
So basically,
this
aspect of continue.
Yeah. No, I mean, Mala, I regret now, Prabhuji, that I never considered that it is a Bhagavana Uvach. So this was a mistake. We thought it is normal book. You just read it, and I mean, generally you don't like you watch a movie and you don't remember all the scenes because you don't take it that seriously.
Correct.
When you take it really seriously, it is a Bhagwan Uvach. It's a word by Bhagwan. So each and every word becomes so extremely important. So that is what I could actually, gain from after getting in touch with you, and when you are emphasizing, or when I hear Prabhupada, how beautifully he take one words and expand it. So I think this is the great learning for us.
Yes. Because Krishna's every word is so important for us. Every word. Prabhupada says every word of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam has volumes of meaning. Volumes of meaning. Okay. Every time, when we read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is going to reveal those volumes of meaning for us. That is going to give us so much of, Atmananda. Atmananda means soul's happiness, because soul is actually seeking for, knowledge. Whereas the material world, we get all this mundane knowledge, material knowledge, no satisfaction. When you understand about yourself, reality about your existence, that is called Chit knowledge. That is going to really give you so much of joy within. That is called Chidananda. So that Ananda, Atmananda is what we are looking forward for. So when you read Bhagavad Gita, try to understand Gita with devotees, then it is really going to give you that experience of spiritual bliss, Atmananda. That is what all of us are going through, right? So that is, in that way, that context, you see, so nicely, so wonderfully Krishna has spoken everything, verse after verse, and all is meant for us. Just in 700 verses, he has covered the entire Vedic understanding. So expert he is. Right? Same thing repeated in Bhagavata, other literatures, different ways. Okay, so nice, very good realization. Okay, so any other question, or shall we close now? We went slow today because it was little philosophical, today's topics. In fact, all subjects are philosophical, but it requires little more careful understanding. That's why little went slowly today. We didn't rush. Lataji, Hare Krishna, your question is still pending. We didn't hear you. Lata Rao. Okay, anyway, somebody knows Lataji, can you please call her and get the question? Okay, fine then. So we will close for today. Already it is 7:45, 7:50. So we will continue our discussions next week. Okay, thank you everybody.